I watched her leave our house at midnight, only to find her car in front of his apartment. I had just gotten out of bed. Something woke me, maybe a noise, maybe just my mind racing after the argument we had earlier. I wasn't planning to check the time or make any big assumptions. But then I saw her. She was in the hallway, pulling on her jacket like she was in a hurry, her phone glued to her ear. She didn't see me. I was still in the shadows, standing just outside our bedroom door. My stomach knotted up. I could hear her end the call abruptly, her words clipped, almost cold. I knew it wasn't a late-night work call or some friend she had to meet. It had that tone, the one where you're sneaking away, trying to get out without causing a scene. I knew something was off. By the time I had pulled on a shirt and walked downstairs, she was already in the car. My heart was pounding, adrenaline coursing through me like I was gearing up for a fight. I wasn't even sure if I was angry or just scared. I grabbed my keys, started the car, and followed her. My hands were shaking, but I kept my eyes on the road, trying not to think too much. It wasn't until I saw her turn onto the street that led to his place that I started to panic. This couldn't be happening. We've been married for 6 years. I never expected this. Hell, we've been fighting lately, but I figured it was just the stress of work and life getting to both of us. We'd have a couple of bad days, but we always worked through it. At least that's what I thought. She hadn't mentioned anyone else. No friend she was meeting, no catching up with someone from work. It was always just excuses. But now, with her car parked outside his building at 12:30 a.m., it felt like my entire world was unraveling in slow motion. I parked about a block away, just out of sight, but close enough that I could see her through the cracks in the blinds. Her car was there, stationary, and I could see her silhouette through the windows, but it wasn't like she was running in to drop something off or pick something up. She wasn't in a rush. She was just there. I wanted to stay in the car and just pretend like I hadn't seen anything, but I couldn't. I couldn't sit still anymore. My hands were clammy as I grabbed my phone and texted her. "Me, where are you?" It felt so strange, so cold, typing it out. I wasn't even sure what I expected her to say. I half expected the phone to buzz immediately with an excuse, but there was nothing. A few minutes went by, and I found myself looking at the glowing screen, half sick with the realization that I was waiting for something I already knew was coming. I'd seen this before in the movies. Seen the way people lie to themselves when they can't face the truth. But this wasn't a movie. This was my life. I finally turned off my phone. I couldn't keep checking it like that. She wasn't going to answer anytime soon. I sat there for what felt like hours. Every passing minute felt like another weight pressing down on me, suffocating me slowly. I couldn't stop replaying the scenes in my head. Her phone call, the way she left so quickly, the way she tried to hide it all. And as much as I tried to resist it, I kept imagining them together in that apartment. I kept imagining her walking through that door and taking her jacket off and sitting down, laughing at something he said. The thought of it nearly broke me, but I couldn't look away. I needed to know. It wasn't until I saw her through the window of the apartment building, catching a glimpse of her walking past the lit-up hallway, that something in me snapped. Something primal, something desperate. She hadn't noticed me. She didn't even know I was there. But I knew. I knew she had made her choice. And I wasn't sure where I fit into that anymore. That's when I decided I couldn't wait any longer. I walked up to the building with my heart hammering in my chest, the cold night air doing nothing to calm the fire burning inside me. Part 2. I didn't even think about what I was doing as I stepped toward the door of his building. My feet were moving on their own, like some part of me was detached, just watching this all unfold. My head was spinning. I tried to take a deep breath, but it came out as more of a shuddering gasp. I should have stopped. I should have turned around. But I didn't. The lobby was quiet. Too quiet. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, flickering every few seconds. I walked past the mailboxes and down the hall toward the elevator. The building smelled like old wood and cleaning supplies, like nothing had changed in years. I pressed the button for the elevator, trying to steady my hands. My thoughts were scrambled, but I kept telling myself that I had to do this. I had to confront her, to confront him. I couldn't just sit there, waiting for the inevitable to happen. When the elevator doors slid open with a soft ding, I stepped inside. I didn't even bother checking the floors. I knew exactly where I was going, apartment 303. His apartment. The ride felt like it lasted forever, even though it was only a few seconds. I tried to imagine what was waiting for me on the other side of the door. What would I say? What would I even do when I saw her with him? Would she be surprised? Angry? Would she cry? Or would she look at me like I was some stranger, like she didn't even know me anymore? The elevator stopped with a jerk. I stepped out and turned to the right. The door to 303 was just ahead. I could hear faint laughter through the walls. It wasn't loud, just enough to make my blood run cold. It wasn't a friendly laugh. It wasn't a laugh that would come from a coworker or a friend. This was different. It was intimate. I stood there for a moment, just staring at the door, waiting. I was shaking now, every muscle in my body tense and tight, but I couldn't bring myself to knock. What was I supposed to say? How was I supposed to even begin to confront her about this? But then, before I could even make the decision, the door creaked open a few inches. I froze, and there she was, my wife. Standing there, in front of him, with her coat on, her hair a little messy like she'd been running her hands through it. She looked surprised to see me. No, more like shocked, as if she hadn't expected me to show up at all. She opened her mouth to speak, but I couldn't hear her. I could feel my pulse in my ears, thudding so loud I thought she might be able to hear it too. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't. I knew you were here. I finally managed to croak out. My voice was hoarse, shaky. I saw your car outside. You are really doing this? She flinched, taking a step back like she was afraid I might come through the door. Her eyes flickered toward the apartment, and I realized, with a sickening clarity, that he was in there, watching from behind her. I couldn't see him, but I knew he was there. And the thought of it, the realization that she had been so careless, that she didn't even bother hiding it, it shattered something in me. Please, she said quietly, looking down at the floor, not meeting my eyes. Please, can we just talk about this later? I wanted to scream. I wanted to shout, to ask why, to demand answers, but all that came out was a soft laugh. A bitter, hollow laugh that made me want to puke. It was like I was looking at a stranger, someone I didn't even recognize. You don't think this is something we should talk about right now? I asked, voice rising. You really think I'm just going to go home, pretend I didn't see you here? Her hand shot up, like she was trying to hold me back, trying to make me stop. I didn't mean for you to find out this way. I didn't mean to hurt you, I swear. A cold knot tightened in my chest. She didn't even look at me. She was looking around the hallway, like she was hoping someone would come by and interrupt this mess before it could get worse. The silence stretched on, suffocating us both. I could feel his presence behind the door, like he was waiting for the moment I'd explode. I was sure he was just watching, probably expecting me to make a scene so that he could step in and play the hero. The thought made my skin crawl. Don't lie to me. I finally spat out. You've been seeing him for how long? How long has this been going on? Huh? My voice cracked. How long were you planning to keep this from me? She stepped back again, now visibly upset, her face flushed with something between guilt and frustration. This isn't what you think. Please just let me explain. I couldn't hear her anymore. Every word felt like it was getting muffled by a thick, suffocating blanket of disbelief. I wanted to understand. I wanted to hear her side of things. But the truth, the harsh truth, was that it didn't matter anymore. I'd already seen everything I needed to see. The hurt and betrayal cut too deep. I looked at her one last time, taking in the soft vulnerability in her eyes, and then I turned to leave. The pain was unbearable, but I knew I couldn't do this. Not like this. Not in this moment. As I walked back down the hallway, I heard the door close behind me, faintly, like it was shutting out the last bit of whatever we had left. I didn't look back.